I don't know which one's worse, but they're basically the same person at this point. He's using the Dark Brandon eyes and putting them on Hunter, and then there's money, and it's behind Tucker because I guess Hunter is, grew up rich and I don't know what, farts money. Is that what's happening? Perhaps. Let's see. Anyways, this is Rusty Trombone here. Has a he's got a habit now of putting shit in his titles, like oh shit or oh fuck or whatever, and always putting an asterisk in there so he can get by with it. And it reminds me of that moment in the Rat song Dance Dance Dance, where they sing the line pain in the ass, and because they got away with saying ass on the air, they immediately solo sometimes you're just a pain in the ass, which is literally like we said ass on the radio. Like that's what that solo is. And next time you hear it, you'll know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. Just like we said ass. It's so fucking whatever. Anyways, I always thought it was hilarious. But he does this all the time now, and he also does these like these jizzbot blow up doll headshots now. Everything is fucking open gullet. I don't get it. But here we go. This is, oh shit, Tucker just destroyed the Bidens. Oh, by the way, Tucker has I was going to say, I think he has I thought he had a YouTube, well, I'll show you this. I thought he had a YouTube channel, and like supposedly he's not supposed to have one. He's supposed to, let's see, where is it? It'd be in the history of the shit that I watched today, because God help me. And let's see. Where is he? This is the Hunter Biden-y thing, and then this thing, and this is the shit I watch is so fucking weird. Almost there. Stay on target. That was yesterday. Okay, where is it? Tucker, girl. It's gotta be some sort of Tucker. This is Tucker's stupid face. Where's his stupid face? Where is Tucker's stupid face? It's in here somewhere. I'm scrolling. Almost. Nope. The fuck? They must have taken it down. That's what it was. Because somebody, I think, was doing a fake Hunter Biden show on YouTube, and I think they were just taking his videos and playing on a loop and calling it the Tucker Carlson channel or some shit like that. Oh wait, maybe I'll be able to find it that way. The Tucker Carlson channel. There we go. And then it's not gonna be on there. Nope, it's just a Twitter show. Okay, never mind. Okay, I'll see if I can find it. I think they probably took it down because it was fake. Anyways, back to this dipshit. So this is Tucker Carlson destroying the Bidens. Let's see it happen. And apparently he had to outsource the destruction of the Bidens to Tucker Carlson because Rusty Trombone's a fuck up.
Tucker spoke to Devon Archer. He's Hunter Biden's business.
God damn, dude. And I thought my video quality was bad. The hell is this? What do you got, a zit, or you didn't like it? Do you get a smoothing filter? What happened?
His partner. He said Joe Biden knew about Hunter's business deals, and yet Joe Biden said he knew nothing. Corruption is a two-way street, baby. Who should we indict next?
Next. What are you? A New Zealander now?
Hello there, you 6 point.
Oh, this is his interview with Devon Archer. We've already covered this.
5 million awakening wonders. Thanks for joining me on this voyage through truth and freedom. Hit the notification bell and subscribe to Hunter Biden's business partner, who claims that Joe Biden knew about Hunter Biden's private business dealings. And you
really? Is that what he knew? He knew about them? He knew that they were private.
would think that maybe he would know.
I think he got that from the Cosby auction, right? That sweater vest, right? I'm kidding. He didn't buy it from Cosby. Cosby probably gifted it to him.
I mean, let me know in the comments. Do you think he knew? Do you think he...
Fuck off with your... What
Curious about this. Are legit text messages? Do you think if you're Hunter Biden...
Do you think you could possibly prop up my fucking channel by blathering gibberish. I'm basically telling the bots what to do so that when they do it, because we pay them to, it'll look like there's real organic reach.
Doing a deal with Ukrainian or Chinese businesses, you're going to mention and leverage your father's position as the VP to...
Excuse me. Quick question, and this one's come up a couple of times, so I think it's a good time to ask it, if I may. Pardon me, ma'am. Sorry, miss. I wouldn't call you ma'am. Do you think that if your father was the vice president of the United States of America, you'd have to tell people? Do you think that if your father was the vice president of the United States of America, especially the vice president to the first black president, so he'd be easy to pick out, you know, instead of two white guys up there, you know, like, which one of those is yours? Pretty sure it's that one. Do you think perhaps people would know? Is that really your fucking dad? You see the Secret Service pin on that guy's jacket so I don't get killed by some maggot lunatic? Yeah. All right. I thought you could buy those. You can.
Make those deals move more smoothly? Let me know in the...
More smoothly? No, as a matter of fact. It fucked them up.
Comments in the chat. Let's have a look at the conversation between Tucker and Devon Archer and his crazy, made-up, moralistic Dickensian name and see what we think together.
Washington's not a money town.
Right.
You know, people aren't...
Okay, first of all, is he just playing chunks of this? We've already watched
Means
this.
selling access at the end of the day.
Selling access is the business of Washington. This is a
For Devon Archer, it is.
city built on lobbying, donations,
Infrastructure, the existence of the EPA, the military, the national security of the United States of America, monetary policy, the Supreme Court, the functioning Constitution. What the fuck are you talking about? There's K Street is the lobbying street. Everybody knows K Street is the lobbying street. You know why? Because that's where they go. Because they don't own the fucking town. They're all on K Street.
finding loopholes,
Finding loopholes. Why would Biden have to find loopholes? Trump just made his own.
manipulation, knowing the law, manipulating the law,
Knowing the law and manipulating it. Do you have to live in DC? Do you have to be a lobbyist to know the law and manipulate the law? I don't know. I mean, obviously, as a multi-millionaire, he clearly knows more people that can, quote unquote, manipulate the law than I do.
a wife who regulates big tech companies and investing in big tech companies, finding ways to do things
Oh, I think that was a Pelosi dig.
legally that should be illegal.
Oh, you mean like Jared and Ivanka's $2 billion Saudi deal?
That's how I interpret it, and I think that's how most people on, in Wall Street, whether they admit it or not.
Yeah, in Wall Street. That doesn't mean everybody in DC looks at it that way. That's how Wall Street, because that's Wall Street's only reason. That's why, by the way, that's why Donald Trump and I only went to DC 17 times in my whole life before I became president of the United States, and I never stayed the night, because he flew in for fucking meetings. Because he was just there to manipulate the situation. Dude didn't even stick around to see the fucking museums.
Interpret it.
It's been reported, and you have said that there were occasions when Joe Biden would call in with clients present on a speaker
No, other way around.
phone.
Right.
No. Again, we went through this before. He would call his son, and his son would put him on speakerphone, and then go, "Hey, Dad, you're on speakerphone."
How many times do you think that happened?
I mean, over a 10-year partnership, I would, the number I'm going with is 20. That's probably the amount that I
So a lot.
kind of reckon. Yeah, a lot.
A lot. Maybe 46% of the weeks of the year he would call once. Here's a good idea. How many times did you put anyone on speakerphone in a business meeting? Period. End of story. Anybody, and who are they? If it wasn't your parents saying, hi, who's there? Hi, Gary. Hello, Tom. What's going on? Who'd you put on speakerphone? You and Tucker, too.
So Joe Biden, who's very much a product of Washington, of course, must have known that he was calling in to effectively a business meeting that his son was having. I mean, he must have understood that was kind of what his son was selling.
Well, that's hard for me to speculate on that.
But like, I guess my question, just to keep it to the facts, Joe Biden, then the sitting vice president, knew that there were Hunter's business associates in the room.
Yeah, I think I
After he said, you're on speaker, Dad.
I could definitively say at particular dinners or meetings, he knew there were business associates, and
I didn't notice this before. Wait, back up.
At particular dinners or meetings, he knew there were business associates, and
That's an interesting cut. They're good with the timing on the nod.
Particular dinners or meetings, he knew there were business associates, and or if I was there, I was a business associate too.
While Donald Trump fights for his freedom at the...
Oh, God. He's not fighting for his freedom. He's fighting for all freedom.
This time, we're asked and invited to consider what the symbol of Washington represents. We're told it represents...
No, we're not. We don't need that. It's not a religion, fuckhead.
Democracy, integrity, transparency, and ethical clarity. But if, as
Have you met Kevin McCarthy?
our man Devon there alleges, it's simply a town that grants access, a kind of knocking shop, a brothel for access, a place where you lube and grease the wheels of commerce.
For the record, that's how he said the Wall Streeters perceive it. So apparently, you're more concerned about people who are on the receiving end of that greasing than the people who are trying or perceive it as the main purpose. But then, of course, you root for people who would put pedophiles on the missing and exploited children's committee. So, yeah.
Well, what is Washington a symbol of, really? And is what Donald Trump knew or didn't know or deliberately said or didn't deliberately say of less significance than the fact that the whole system is just a corrupt...
Yeah. Let's just, you know what, Your Honor, we recognize that Mr. Provolone, sure, yes, he's the... we will proffer that he is indeed, if I may use some legal terms, the nail gun mafia hitman that some of these people allege that he is. But really, sir, is the fact that... I'm sorry, ma'am. It is. I'm sorry, ma'am. Your Honor, yes, he did kill on behalf of the Frangisoni family on several occasions. But isn't it the back and forth? Isn't it prohibition that from... Yes, it ended 7 decades ago. But the point is, wasn't that the thing that drove him to ultimately a life of crime through generations of family tradition and the like? Isn't it the system of the Italian mafia and the legal system itself finding some sort of issue with killing people with a nail gun and then putting them in a oil drum and dropping them in the Jersey River aqueduct? Wherever that was. I don't pretend to know where he put them. I can't, Your Honor, because that would be an admission of guilt on my own. Charlie, make a note. Anyways.
Soft sell for the interests of the powerful. Now, the allegation is that Biden must have known.
I don't know. You know what? You should have on to ask about that? Robert F. Kennedy Jr. He hates people who skate on their names and who've lived a life of luxury that they haven't earned.
This revelation contradicts past comments made by the president, who said in 2019 that he never spoke with his son about business dealings.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Speaking to your son while he's having a business meeting and saying, "Hey, son, how you doing? Oh, that's scary. Okay, cool. He's doing what? Oh, good. You guys having fun? How's the fishing down there?" Is not talking to your son about business dealings. It is not. It is not. That is not... This is right here. This revelation contradicts past comments made by the president, who said in 2019 that he never spoke with his son about business dealings. That's no, it doesn't. Period. And therefore, what we have here is Rusty Trombone here. What's the word for it? Lying.
I suppose that is what you would say if you wanted to avoid controversy.
It's been reported, and I know that it is true, that the Hunter and his brother were very close to their dad.
Absolutely.
Which I think is great.
Yep.
Yeah, of course you do. Yeah, it's great. It's great.
I've got a lot of kids. I'm very close to them, talk to them every day.
Yeah.
Never called them on speaker during a business meeting.
First of all, the question isn't whether you were on speaker. We talked about this when we first watched this. You don't call somebody on speaker. They put you on speaker. You called someone. They put you on speaker. Do any of your kids do this shit? Hey, Dad, what's going on? Use the speakerphone part of it and talk to you like this in a car? I guarantee at least one of his kids does this. Because it's been all the shit for the last couple of years. Dad, no, we're going to the movies and then we're doing this thing and then and then I'm taking part of your inheritance that you hid in my accounts so that you wouldn't have to pay taxes on it, and I'm investing it in one of Fox's rivals. Yeah, you don't have to tell him. I don't care. Okay, yep. Has that ever happened? Have you ever called your kid and they put you on phone like this? Tucker Carlson. Devon Archer.
That's weird.
Yep. In the rear view, it's an abuse of soft power, I'd say.
An abuse of soft power.
An abuse of soft power.
Okay, that's not a thing.
So that's ultimately what's being alleged here, an abuse of soft power.
Which is not a thing. You know what's an abuse of soft power? China telling you that they only have 4,000 deaths from COVID.
While most of the media's ire and focus is on the Trump indictment, isn't it worth simultaneously considering the impact of these allegations?
No, it is not. Because there are stages of guilt in someone, and everybody's guilty until proven, or innocent until proven otherwise. Or he's got the presumption of being not guilty. No one's innocent technically. Yeah. But he's got that presumption throughout this part. But there is a difference in the scale of whether a story is a real story or not based on blatant political allegations, blather, a grand jury being convened because a DA or a special counsel has gathered enough evidence to think it's worthwhile, and then that group of human beings seeing the evidence and going, yeah, I think you could charge the fucker.
Particularly when we know that the Hunter Biden laptop story was deliberately kept out of the press and
for 19 hours. And also, the New York Post is the press. You do realize that. It was just kept off of Twitter and Facebook because they tried to drop it as an October surprise. Everybody involved in that shit, including Miranda Devine, had access to that fucking hard drive in fucking February of that year. So why not write the story then? I'll tell you why. Because you would have time to realize it was bullshit. That's what an October surprise is for. You drop a story that will make a big noise, but by the time people figure out it was all a lie, it's too late.
Social media, to a degree, with a collaboration of the CIA. As this story continues to...
The what? Wait.
Social media, to a degree, with a collaboration of the CIA. As this story continues...
What? To a degree with the collaboration of the CIA? You mean does he mean like the CIA, former CIA heads that were like, this sounds like Russian disinformation to me? Which it was.
Continues to unfurl, doesn't it look more and more likely that at its heart is real, legitimate, destabilizing corruption?
No, it doesn't. First of all, there's no money that they proved has changed hands. Okay, period, end of story. That is any meaningful payment to anything that hadn't been arranged beforehand. Like actual, like, we'll set up this business, and if we fuck off, you can keep the money. That's that shit. But getting Shokin fired didn't do damage to the fucking United States of America. CEFC not buying a gas company in fucking Louisiana or Alabama wasn't a negative impact on the United States. None of the behaviors that they're alleging that these payments were for, when they bother to fucking say them, were a negative to the United States. As a matter of fact, there's a single one when they talk about what did Biden do for the money. What if China paid him, what did they pay him for? The one area where Comer has tried to offer something up, I mean, I think it was actually Jim Jordan who said it first, was that they changed the name of the China initiative. They didn't shut it down. The investigation continued. Because apparently the CCP was planting agents in universities and businesses in the United States to steal American intellectual property. Because people were getting smart and they weren't taking that tech over to China anymore. And so there was an investigation put in place to look into those people and broom them out because that's a criminal activity. And the only thing that the Biden administration did was not call it the China Initiative anymore because it sounded fucking racist. They didn't stop doing it. They didn't stop going after CCP agents posing as students and lab assistants. They still went after them. They still have been expelling them. They just didn't call it that because it sounds like an attack on Asian people, especially at a time when Asian people were physically being attacked. There was good Lord, fucking hell.
Last week, Hunter Biden appeared in court for charges related to tax crimes, and prosecutors alleged that he received over $600,000 from a Chinese Communist Party-backed company. I started a company in 2017 called Hudson West, Your Honor, and my partner was associated with a Chinese energy company called CFC, Hunter Biden
CEFC. I don't know why this is such a problem.
Said. When asked by the judge if he received $664,000 from the Chinese company, Hunter Biden said, "I believe so, yes, Your Honor." However, during a presidential debate in 2020, Joe Biden said, "My son has not made money in terms of this thing about what you are talking about, China."
Right, because he didn't talk to his son about his business, and his son didn't register that money. So Biden only knew about, I mean, honestly, you want him to know about the stuff? Again, if he'd have discussed business with his son, he'd have known about it.
My son has not made money in terms of this thing about, what are you talking about, China.
Now, that was a confusing sentence, but I think at its heart was a denial of Hunter Biden making money from relationships with a Chinese commercial entity, which appears to have been the case. During the...
Okay, no. That's not what that's about. That whole comment, fucking out of context. That's specifically from the debates. If you'll recall, let's see. Yeah, here it is. This is what this was about. This was not about $600,000 from a company from his part in a Rosemont Seneca deal to buy this company and set it up or whatever, and them basically saying the deal is off. By the way, and again, that's $600,000 from a deal that collapsed. What Biden was talking about was this. Did former Vice President Joe Biden receive $1.5 billion from China? This is what he was referring to. Do you guys remember this shit? This is when Trump was saying Hunter Biden walked out of China with $1.5 billion. Trump conflated his accusations against Vice President Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, railing against Hunter Biden's business dealings, then saying that Joe Biden takes $1.5 billion from China, and he goes on and he allows China to rip us off, he added. So the Bidens got rich while America got robbed. There's no evidence Biden received a large sum of money from China or otherwise gained wealth as a result of his son's business dealings abroad. Trump previously made the $1.5 billion accusation against Hunter Biden. While a conservative author has used the figure, it has not been proven. A lawyer for Hunter Biden, George Maziras, says the investment company in which Hunter Biden has an equity stake was capitalized with a total of about $4.2 million at today's exchange rates, not $1.5 billion. Even this investment was not a direct payment to Hunter Biden. He holds a 10% stake in the firm, Desiree said, and was not and has not made a profit to date. That ended up because that deal fell apart. So he wasn't lying. He was telling the truth.
Money from relationships with a
about what are you talking about? China.
Now,
they were talking about one that remember that Hunter could walk in there and just walk out. Who can do that? I talked to a guy. Remember when Trump was talking this shit? Who recalls it in this room? You guys remember this? You remember when Trump would go, I talked to a guy in Wall Street, big guy, very talented, smart, whatever the fuck guy. And that guy, I said, could you walk into, as smart as you are and you have all these connections, could you walk into China and walk out a couple hours later with $1.2 billion, $1.5 billion? They said, that's impossible. He's never heard of anybody doing that. The reason he's never heard of anybody doing that is because nobody ever fucking did that, especially Hunter Biden. Nobody did that. Jesus Christ. Thanks, Pam. I appreciate it. I mean, I'm glad, by the way, welcome trolls. I know we have some trolls here, and it happens anytime we bring up some of this stuff. I suppose they've got to come to the defense of Rusty Trombone and his folks, but maybe you guys can explain it to us. I'm waiting. Where'd the 1.5 billion go? Where did it come from? Oh, yeah, the guy did have tears in his eyes. Tears in his eyes. He said, I could never walk out of there with $1.2, $1.5 billion. Yeah. Little did we know in America that apparently just being the vice president of the United States, you could scare $1 billion out of China just magically. Too loud? I'm sorry. I get carried away. But we got some trolls in here. And they have to know. They can explain. Corvette maintenance isn't cheap. Touche. That is a really nice car. They have no evidence. Well, yeah, I know that, but I would like to. Here's the thing. What did they get in exchange? Because like I said, the only charge I've heard that's direct, besides Shokin getting fired to benefit Zlochevsky, who had to flee the country after the next prosecutor went after him, and has not been able to, was tried in absentia, and now lives on the run. And apparently, though, he's keeping these recordings he's got of Hunter and Joe for leverage in case he gets in a tight spot, even though he's been on the run for 3.5 fucking years. Yes, I can get Dem Boston Brian on again. I would love to have that happen. Thanks for asking. Us versus them mentality. Maybe so. I don't have to watch CNN anymore. Again, Roman's crimes is endless. The dispatch should issue on election results. Oh, because of Ohio tonight? Yeah. Yeah, the whole thing. It's like, it's going to turn out that Joe Biden's car is made out of paper mache dollar bills. It's $1.5 billion in dollar bills, paper mache. So many layers. It's like the Cheech and Chong van made out of weed. Anyways, I noticed that the trolls really do clam up when I ask them that shit. I don't know why, but at least, hey, trolls, thank you for being here. Thank you for spreading the channel around the web, because if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't reach the areas that are new to us, honestly. So, meanwhile, the nice thing about doing stuff about this dipshit is that the people that ride to his defense rarely give me shit about my long hair, because they kind of can't, because it's, yeah.
That was a confusing sentence, but I think at its heart was a denial of Hunter Biden making...
Why the fuck did... A confusing sentence? Hey, he said it in one go. What the fuck is with the edits? How high are you?
That was a confusing sentence, but I think at its heart was a denial of Hunter Biden making money from...
Fuck, that was 2 cuts. Do you guys see that?
Sentence, but I think at its heart was a denial of Hunter Biden making money from relationships with a Chinese commercial entity, which appears to have been the case.
Jeez, 3 cuts, 1 sentence.
During the 2020 debate, Trump made numerous comments about Biden's alleged connection to China, including one moment where he said Hunter Biden makes millions of dollars from China.
China ate your lunch, Joe, and no wonder your son goes in and he takes out billions of dollars.
Sorry. Yeah, that's even bigger than the idiocy that he was talking about before. Billions, with multiple B billions. By the way, there is an argument to be made that the Chinese tariff arrangement that Trump made with the the Chinese Communist Party was effectively to get first in line for U.S. agricultural goods that they need, and they could afford to overpay. So they basically gave him grifter money that he could buy votes in the Midwest.
Takes out billions of dollars to manage. He makes millions of dollars.
The problem is with the ongoing condemnation and attacks on Donald Trump is that he regularly...
Whoa. He regularly, what the fuck? You don't get to just post that and then jump right fucking past it. The fuck? Again, this goes to what I was talking about. During the 2020 debate, Trump made numerous comments about it, including one moment where he said Hunter Biden makes millions of dollars from China. Right. $600,000 for a deal that never happened. That's what's actually on paper. That's what we've seen. That's that. Cut to
dollars from China.
China ate your lunch, Joe, and no wonder your son goes in and he takes out billions of dollars. Takes out billions of dollars to manage. He makes millions of dollars.
The problem is with the ongoing condemnation and attacks on...
No, the problem is you don't point out that that is just fucking nonsense. What Trump just said there is verifiably ludicrous. It's goofy. That's what's weird. What's weird is that he reads those two clips from The Nation and goes, oh, that's proof that DC is terrible. And then he cuts to this clip of Trump just like diarrhea, like just blather and nothing. Just moves on.
Donald Trump is that he regularly is able to point to examples of corruption made by his opponents.
No, he isn't. He just made it up. That's not what happened there.
The only way to ever oppose a figure like Donald Trump is by saying, look, we are not corrupt. What Donald Trump does is corrupt. What we do is by the book, is legit. Is it even worse than that, though? It's even worse than the Biden administration being corrupt. There is deep systemic corruption.
Okay, fuck off. No, you don't get to cover Donald Trump's corruption by saying the whole system's fucked. This goes back to that kind of mafia defense nonsense. Your Honor, did he really shoot those people or did the system shoot those people? Shut the fuck up. Secondly, if you're going to make the case that Biden's saying, I'm not corrupt, he's corrupt, and that's that, and then Trump's supporters go, yeah, you are, you did this, this, and this. None of it's true, but they can just say it. So just saying it dirties up the other person. This is what we call bearing false witness in the Christian faith. And this is the part he is wiping his ass with, which is what his gesture here means.
The very conditions that have allowed Trump to rise to this position of prominence continue to be committed, continue to be doubled down.
What are you talking about, dude? The very conditions that allowed Trump to rise are what gave you your show. Why you're on Rumble, why you have the deal you have. How you got to marry Katy Perry, for fuck's sake.
Down on. This won't be sufficiently and significantly reported on. You won't see Joe Biden saying, look, I was wrong. I have been involved in Hunter Biden's business
because he wasn't.
Dealings. I have made speakerphone calls during meetings. I was aware.
Who makes speaker phone calls? No one makes speaker phone calls. It wouldn't help. Who gives a... All right. Anybody, chat room. Shit. All right, let's straighten this out. Yeah. Have your parents ever called you on speakerphone? Have you ever gotten a call from your parents by themselves, or maybe they weren't alone, but specifically, if they called you and they put you on speakerphone and you can't, and you're like, Mom, can you pick up the phone? Because it's a little, you just sound far. I know you're vacuuming. Can you please pick up the phone? Right? Okay. How does that help you? If you're in a business meeting and your parents call you and they're like, my dad's on the phone. He'll be with you in a second. Dad, can you pick up he's vacuuming. You hear this? Hold on. Dad, you're on speakerphone. You say hi to everybody. Yeah. No, we're not fishing. I'm at a nightclub right now. That's what that is. Yeah. No, I'm not doing crack. Okay, love you too. Bye. You can't call fucking somebody. If you're on speakerphone, nobody gives a shit. They put you on speakerphone, and you have no control over that. This is so stupid.
Of these deals.
It's just annoying to me. I don't even know what this means something.
They'll just find a way of navigating and negotiating the cracks of this story long enough for us to be deep into the election cycle and for another victory to be gleaned. Without the kind
Oh, I see. They're just going to dirty up Donald Trump with his indictments and ignore the fact that Biden isn't guilty of anything, just enough to cheat you out of it, out of your vote. What the fuck?
kind of honesty that dealings of this nature
No, you're not, Wes. You are not invisible. So please put some pants on.
appear to demand, the legitimacy of everyone involved is questioned. All of this
No, it is not. No, it is fucking well. No, it is not. Of all the clips you played, the only liar specifically that you can point to in the recordings and the clips that you've played or whatever, the only specific lie is what Trump said. That's it.
This underscores Joe Biden's horrendous judgment in blending his son's business with his duties.
Wait, who owns the Wall Street Journal? First of all, the fact that, our champagne socialist millionaire Marxist Rusty Trombone over here, the fact that he's citing the Wall Street Journal is fucking adorable. But, Rupert Murdoch, that's right.
As vice president. Yeah, you can't blend those duties. Bit of vice presidency, bit of supporting Hunter Biden. Amos.
It's his son. I mean, the emotional support's there. There is tape. There are recordings of Joe Biden talking to Hunter. And mostly it's parental.
Hochstein, a senior energy official in the Obama administration, warned the vice president in 2015 that Russia-backed media were using Hunter's presence on the Burisma board to undermine the US anti-corruption message.
Right, and somehow that didn't save Shokin's job.
Problem with all this corruption, go on, it undermines our anti-corruption message because it's corrupt. Yeah, that is a problem. Just lie.
No, it doesn't. They were saying it looks bad. Doesn't have to be bad.
About it. The following year, a top diplomat in Kiev, George Kent, was even more blunt in a message to state. Ukrainians, Mr. Kent said, heard one message from us and then saw another set of behaviour with the family association with a known corrupt figure whose company was known for not playing by the rules in the oil gas sector. It's one thing to develop relationships in office that turn into business opportunities later, the way Jared Kushner, Donald
that's totally different.
Trump's son-in-law did in the Middle East. It's another to leverage the office while in office to promote the family business. As Mr. Archer said, the advantage of the
Mr. Archer.
Biden brand is that legally people will be too intimidated to mess with them. This is
right, which is why your money is safe with him as opposed to other people who brought money to Burisma whose money was stolen and taken to Russia.
This is another example of how the condemnation of Trump and Trump affiliates starts to look ridiculous.
No, it doesn't. Because classified documents found at Biden's house, he turns them over and has the FBI gladly, please look for yourself. We will not stand in the way. Please do a comb of the entire area. If you find anything that shouldn't be there, please move it to a secure location. Return it where it needs to go. Mike Pence did the exact same fucking thing. What did Trump do? Trump lied to his attorney for 2 fucking weeks and spent those 2 weeks shuffling boxes around, taking classified documents out and hiding them in his fucking desk. That's the difference. There's a difference there. That's a behavioral difference. That's a material difference. Good Lord. Just so fucking lazy. Like, imagine waking up every morning being this dude and having to gargle Trump's balls like this. Just carry him around in your gullet like a goddamn penguin.
When there are comparable events within the Biden administration.
There are not comparable events within, and by the way, allegations are not events.
What there should be, it seems, is a thorough investigation, and perhaps Hunter Biden's trial is precisely that, into what exactly has gone on between the Biden family and all these energy companies. This is no longer a salacious scandal about a man's behaviour while under the influence of addiction. This is deep institutional financial corruption.
No, it isn't. It isn't. The United States does not own stake in Burisma, has not picked up stake in oil and gas, hasn't let Russia shut down what was happening in Ukraine so that we could take over, we could sanction Russia later and not have to compete with Ukrainian oil and gas. That would be the smart move.
Involving a vice president who claims that he is the new figurehead for a brave and bold new government. But really, this is the kind of corruption that we're all used to, isn't it?
No. Otherwise, the infrastructure bill would have some sort of like, everybody would have a Halliburton-like contract like the Cheneys.
Whether or not Joe Biden took a dime from these dealings, this is a form of political corruption, covered up by the press in...
What? This is a form of political corruption. In my heart.
2020, it will be an issue in 2024. Democrats should worry.
According to the Wall Street Journal, which will make it an issue in 2024.
That as more facts emerge about the Biden mix of politics and business, it could help Mr. Trump neutralize his many legal vulnerabilities.
Yeah, except that whole, like, classified documents that may have gotten some of our agents killed being shared willy-nilly in the shitter at Mar-a-Lago.
That's precisely what is happening.
No, it's not precisely what is happening.
Is that the charges, allegations, and attempts to indict Trump seem less significant and legitimate in light of...
No. That's the attempt. That's what Comer and Jim Jordan are trying to do. That's what you're trying to do. That's the purpose of this. This is why every time a grand jury is formed and they go, they filed something, Jack Smith filed something that says they're winding down the grand jury, or the grand jury is being told they're not going to be needed after Monday and they're going to come to their conclusion or whatever. Then Comer and Jim Jordan will call a witness from their list of people that look hinky, that don't have anything to fucking say, but they can make a big stink out of it the same day that it comes out or the day before or after, so they can go, oh, this is just a cover, when they're doing the exact same thing
this information.
Dear Devon, I apologize for not getting a chance to talk to you at the luncheon yesterday. I was having trouble getting away from hosting President Who. I hope I get a chance to see you again soon with Hunter. I hope you enjoyed lunch. Thanks for coming. Sincerely, Joseph R. Biden Jr. P.S. Handwritten, happy you guys are together. This is not a criticism of you. I would think as a business guy, you use every...
This sounds gay. That's what they're really talking
advantage. These are not business guys. This is the Vice President of the United States. He's not allowed to be working on businesses with foreign governments while he's vice president. I don't think.
Not that I know of.
But here he is.
Right.
Amazing.
No, he's not. Knowing that his son is Devon Archer is his son's partner, and him being at that luncheon is not the same thing as him being involved in those deals. And he didn't get away. He was like, great to talk to you. Thanks for letting me chew your ear. I was getting sick of dealing with the work that I'm supposed to be doing as vice president. Hope to see you again real soon so we can talk about that thing.
Joe Biden's official position is that...
By the way, do you know how many people get letters like that? Hey, sorry I didn't get a chance to talk to you. Sorry I didn't get a chance to talk to you. Sorry I didn't get a chance to talk to you. Good to see you. Thanks so much. Good to see you. Welcome to the world of politics.
He's had nothing at all to do with Hunter Biden's business dealings. That Hunter Biden is like some sort of plucky street urchin who's made it in the wild world of Ukrainian mineral energies and gas and Chinese business just as a sort of coincidence. Like, by God, I was just being vice president.
No, Devon Archer and the guys at Rosemont Seneca who brought him on were part of that deal. They were the ones who actually instigated it. He was in a company, a group of people. Uh-oh.
Over here.
Wait a second. Might be. Hold on. Is there an issue? Hi. Well, my goodness. Who could possibly be on the floor right now? Who's it? You what? What? What is it? Yeah? What's the matter? You okay? Hi, buddy. What's a chipper doing? What's a chipper to do? Let's let Maddie be. It's like, you're moving towards the door. That's where the food is. Take me. Take me to the food. Take me. Feed me. Maddie's just using the bathroom, silly. He just needs to use the potty. He needs food. That's what this is. Tell you what, look what I made. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. He was not going to leave me alone. He was like, meow, I'm starving to death. You are a mean person. Why am I needed? There we go. Yeah. So, hi everybody. Hi. You know what? We needed that break because sometimes I get this fool right here. You should look that afraid. It's like screenshot. What an asshole. I think it's terrible that our government is so corrupt that you can just, make shit up about people and people just believe it because they want to believe that everything around them is garbage and they sell it for a living. It's even, it's even more terrible. It's really terrible. And I think it's part of our system, really. It's the whole thing where, like, people can fly in first class all the time and ignore the quality of the FAA, for example. Or they can, drive across town and never even give a thought to a stop sign or a stop light or any of the bridges that they're on so they don't fall apart or any of that shit, whatever. And then, they can, in the safety of the U.S. military or the legal system of the United States does for their own intellectual property right, they can put copyright on a lot of their things and know that they'll get paid for them and protected from that by the U.S. government with free of fucking charge, especially, and they'll do all that and then they'll pretend that they don't believe the government works and they'll sell that to a bunch of like schlubs in the middle of fucking nowhere who are like, yeah, I totally think it's all rigged.
Meanwhile, over there, what's Hunter doing? He's becoming an international business person. So there's no connection between those two facts. Here's Hunter Biden's business partner producing a letter from Joe Biden saying, oh, sorry, I couldn't get away from President who? Because I'm the vice president and I'm probably supposed to be engaged in protecting.
He was. It was just being nice. It's like I couldn't get away. I was with President who? It sounds like a humble brag.
American national security rather than babbling in Hunter.
I'm sorry. Why do you believe that China's a matter of American national security? A meeting with Hu Jintao.
There's business dealings. Can you see that even if they can't demonstrate that Joe Biden financially benefited from this situation, it's pretty plain that he was...
He benefited that his son got his life together and didn't die of a fentanyl overdose, which I find a form of corruption.
Involved. It's pretty plain that at very least there's nepotism. It's pretty plain that at least he was...
No. Nepotism is you get a fucking job because of who your fucking parents are. Or because somebody, I guess you related to somebody who actually gives you the gig specifically. If other people hire you because they think they can get access, it's not the same fucking thing. He didn't make a phone call to get the fucking hire happen. As a matter of fact, Hunter partnered with people his same fucking age. He didn't end up working for John Kerry.
Using his position as vice president to advantage Hunter Biden. In a way, I can get myself into a state where I don't care about that. Where I'm like, oh, well, this is the world, isn't it? I mean, I do stuff for my kids. I'd probably...
Yeah, don't you? What do you do? What do you do? Get them into the best schools, do you? Private school. Don't want them being around, regular people. Ugh.
They offer advantages to my children over some stranger's children. But guess what? I'm not the vice president of the United States, and I'm not denying that happened. And we're not in the middle of a great and glorious fiasco where Donald Trump is supposed to be indicted.
Wait, what's the great and glorious fiasco? He seems upset. This is a little mad as hippies go. Does anybody notice he seems a little perturbed? Is this hippie perturbed? Is this what hippie perturbed looks like?
One, because of his relationship with Stormy Daniels. Two, because of some financial corruption issues, taking those boxes. Three, because of...
Taking those boxes. That's right, it was just boxes. It wasn't what was in the boxes. What's in the boxes, they couldn't even... It's just the boxes themselves. It's cardboard. It was the great cardboard crime of 2021.
Inciting an insurrection inside his mind. We can prove he did it inside his mind. What I'm saying is that no one has a fortress of moral authority or a...
Moral authority? Yeah, especially you, fuckhead.
Pulpit from which to address us as people and say, listen...
Yeah, I'm not looking to Joe Biden as my moral compass. I'm looking for a competent president. And also, I am expecting that the people who, if they have charges against him, it's nice to have transcripts, tape, something that actually amounts to a fucking crime, like Trump showing classified documents to people writing a book about Mark Meadows. Or Kid fucking Rock.
This guy's corrupt, we're not corrupt, I would never do anything like that, because plainly, that is the business of Washington.
No, plainly it's not. Plainly, that is the illusion you sell.
That's the way it operates. It's
No, it isn't. Just because Devon Archer says so. Devon Archer, okay. Where did the genesis of this repeater phrase throughout this, that Washington is all about the sale of influence and that's what the city is about? And where did he get that from? Where in this video? I mean, he kind of says generally, believes that generally about everything. But where is he getting that repeating phrase? He got it from Devon Archer. He got it from this fucking guy. Hold on, we'll scroll back to his, where is he? Where's his fucking face? There he is. This guy. That guy right there. Devon Archer. He got it from him. Devon Archer saying it's the business of, or he was fed that idea by Tucker Carlson, the way I guess Dan Goldman supposedly fed him the idea that it was the illusion of influence, right? Where did he get him from? He got it from Devon Archer. He's repeating something that Devon Archer asserted with Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson, who is the heir to the Swanson frozen dinner fortune, is a second-generation rich kid who's never had to work a day in his fucking life. He's a legacy. He had a legacy college degree and ended up working at Fox News. He's had a cush job his whole fucking life, and he's never had to, like, the only manual labor he does is when he pretends he's George Bush, doing fake ranch shit. He fishes and he thinks that's work, okay? First of all. Secondly, that's the person who fed this idea. Devon Archer is going to jail for over a year for bilking Native American tribes out of millions of dollars in a scam. And the genesis of the thesis that he is presenting about the U.S. government and our country in general he got that from the heir to the Swanson frozen dinner fortune, who's never had to work a day in his life, and a guy who bilked native tribes out of millions of dollars. That's where that's the goose that laid this golden egg. That he's going to sell to a bunch of fucking people who aren't going to go, well, I mean, that's the kind of thing a guy who would steal money from native tribes would say. Because that's the way he lives. That's that guy's morals.
Only bad when your opponents do it. It's normal, ordinary, and to be accepted.
No, it isn't. And again, Devon Archer's problems are his own.
If it's within the Pelosi family or within the Biden family, presumably within the Clinton and Obama families.
Yeah, just presume it. Yeah, the Obama family. Yeah, just immediately assume that the Obama daughters are as would fucking shoot a staked out white leopard on a African safari if they could. They just don't. They got other shit to do because of nepotism. Otherwise, they'd be killing endangered species just like Don and Eric. Where are, honest to God, where are the Obama girls' like $2 billion UAE deal? If you're gonna say it's all the same, then you gotta fucking chart some shit. You don't hear him mention Bush? No, you don't. Yeah, he's not bringing up the Bush girls. He won't. You know why? Because I guess at one point he was hoping to be on The View.
What we're offering you is an alternative vision, a different line of questioning.
Bullshit.
It's the behaviors themselves that are a problem. It's the...
Again, alleged behaviors.
The principles themselves that have gone awry. Forget your relationship with either party or either...
Yeah, because you forget all the details necessary.
Side and ask yourself, what do you believe in? How should America be run? Is this the kind of president you want?
Yes, I voted for him. I'm going to vote for him again. Yeah. Yes. Our unemployment is so fucking low. We need more foreign workers to even get near the number of job openings that there are. The Fed is fighting inflation because they believe we're close to total employment. They think Jerome Powell thinks that the 3.5% unemployment that we have is willing, that there are no people out there looking for a job that can't find one. There are some people that won't take one, but that's not the same fucking thing. That's where we are. That's not where we were under Trump. We're vaccinated. We're back to work. Everybody, the fucking concerts happening all over the fucking place. Life is back to abnormal. And we have an infrastructure bill. And Title 42 ended, and just like I said it would, the number of border crossings dropped 60%. So yes, I did vote for that, and I will vote for it fucking again. And I'm not looking for this kind of illusion of angelic behavior or some idiotic argument that people do when they know they're the loser in the conversation. We're like, oh, okay, well, I guess you're perfect then. That kind of bullshit. That's what children do.
He meaningfully better than an alternative candidate.
Yes. And by the way, this is really the pin of this, because at a certain point he's getting like, he's not going to get Trump on as a guest, but he can get RFK and Marianne on, and has, I think, both of them, and will continue to do. And he knows that they guarantee a certain amount of clicks. So that's what this is about. This is about being a spoiler. This is about, he wants to be kind of the Jill Stein campaign chairman of 2016.
That you are supposed to despise. Or is he, in fact?
First of all, nobody despises alternative candidates. They have no shot. It's a waste of fucking time and energy, especially when the alternative to our party is someone who brags about grabbing women by the pussy and who stores classified documents in the shitter at his rental property, where he barges in on weddings and bitches about his legal problems. Yeah, that's terrible. And it's an arc of fucking terrible.
Much worse.
So it's enough to be sitting at a meal at Lake Como with your new Ukrainian friends, and your dad happens to call, let's put him on speaker.
That would be I think that's enough.
It's possible that Joe Biden thought he was calling someone else. Hello?
Old man joke. That's good. This is the problem that he, as a alleged comedian, has, where he's got to make old fart jokes about him just being doddering and weak or whatever. That's the and again, this is the extent of his comedic ability. This is where the well runs dry.
Where's my pizza? This is Burisma. Okay, but just add pepperoni.
There was
Pepperami. Jesus Christ, man! It's all those edits you can roll back and say pepperoni, right?
Hello? Where's my pizza? This is Burisma. Okay, but just add pepperoni.
There was
Fuck. Maybe he had another punchline. You mean pepperoni? Whatever. And they were just like, that's not as funny as it sounding like you can't say pepperoni. Cut.
There's constant pressure to send signals, to leverage all of his dad included, but the Biden brand, all of the,
Right. The Biden brand. Trustworthiness, because he's a drug addict and he had issues, and everybody's like, I don't know if this guy's up to the task, but he knows it, but we've got his dad on here. Maybe he'll make a good hostage.
The DC insider and relationships to help Burisma survive. That ability to help.
Oh, by the way, does anybody know if Burisma, quote, survived? Does anybody know if Burisma is a functioning company that is no longer plagued by corruption? Anybody? Just shot in the dark. Anybody? Again, before Hunter Biden, definitely not. After Hunter Biden, how's it doing? Rock solid, actually.
On the geopolitical stage, keep them out of trouble, keep them out of investigations, unfreeze assets.
If that
keep them out of trouble.
litany of advantages that come with Hunter Biden's name are to be believed, then it's not an appointment that's based on Hunter Biden's business prowess, instincts, and insights. It's a very real set of advantages that come with having Hunter Biden involved in Burisma.
Yes, for Devon Archer and for Hines and for Bulger's kid or whatever the fuck. Yes, for them. Because who the fuck are they? There's been a bunch of investors who've come through Ukraine and these other companies that have brought in, like, we'll take your money to Ukraine, sure, no problem. And off they went, and it vanished into the night, never to be seen again. But if you have the vice president's kid working on your board, it's pretty guaranteed you're not going to disappear with the money. That's an anchor. That's what that is. The money is not going to be stolen. That's the primary reason. As an investor, as an outside investor in Burisma, because that's what Burisma is. Burisma Holdings is what the name of the company is. Let me show you, if I may, real quick. Let's see. Yep. Okay. So Burisma is a holding company for a series of. Let's see, open this fucker up. There we go. And I'm sorry, I always mispronounce the name. That's my fault. It's pronounced
the Burmese executives. So
yeah.
this Burmese, they say pronounce it Burmese.
Oh, do they? Yeah. Okay. Sorry. We've all been fucking it up all this time. But you know what the fuck do we know? He's got what are they called? Yeah.
I know words. I have the best words.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Burmese.
Sure. But then, of course,
To me, Corona means Italy.
yeah. Corona would be the beer, and Verona would be in Italy. But what am I? It's not like the dude has to be president or anything. It's not like he has to look at a map. Okay. Burisma Holdings Limited is a holding company for a group of energy exploration and production companies. It is a holding company for a group of energy exploration and production companies. It is registered in Limassol, Cyprus, but is based in Kiev, Ukraine. Burisma Holdings has operated in the Ukrainian natural gas market since 2002. It was one of the largest private natural gas producers in Ukraine. It's owned by Ukrainian oligarch Mykola Zlovchevsky. It's not anymore, actually. It's been bought. Through his company, Brosity Investments, somebody else runs that now. Burisma's subsidiaries include Esko Pivnich, Pari, Preshna, Ukrainska, Naftogazga, natural gas, Naftogaz, Garant, Cuba Gas, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Founded in 2002, blah, blah, blah. 2012, they start going after the first Ukrainian oil gas company, blah, 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 became part of the Burisma Group. 2014, Burisma signed a cooperation agreement with Kazmina Gas, the national oil and gas company of Kazakhstan. That is why the deal... that's why the guy was happy in Kazakhstan and gave them cars, because the deal actually went through, because they tried to do shit like that before and the money had been around. 2016, Burisma bought 2 hydraulic fracturing fleets. In 2017, it bought a 3,000 horsepower Surface King manufacturing SK drilling rig for $40 million. It was the most powerful drilling rig in Eastern Europe at the time. And so it acquired 70% stake in KUB Gas, blah, blah, blah. One of the founders of the International Forum on Energy Security for the Future, partnered with Electric Marathon in 2017, signed a partnership agreement with the Atlantic Council to promote anti-corruption measures. In 2020, the United States presidential election, the re-election campaign of Trump and his allies, between the claims were first stated by Breitbart News, subsequently formed the basis of a pressure campaign by Trump and associates to push the Ukrainian government to announce the investigation, impeachment, acquittal, blah, blah, blah. Burisma allegations to tarnish the operation. Okay. Burisma's primary operations are in Ukraine, supplemented by activities in Germany, Mexico, Italy, and Kazakhstan. Holds 35 gas production licenses in Ukraine, in the Dnieper, Donetsk, Carpathian, and Azov-Kuban basins. The exploration and production activities are carried out at 8 sites in 5 regions. Burisma also provides natural gas well services, including hydraulic fracturing. You're gonna frack, apparently, right? Yeah.
You're gonna frack.
Apparently so. Burisma plans to build a liquefied petroleum gas plant in Kharkiv with a capacity of 50,000 tons per year, God willing that the Ukrainians take their country back. That said, it's still in existence. It exists. It is a company that exists, and it was not going to. At one point, its own owner was going to drive it into the ground. Ta-da! House maker sure. Yes. This is the Hell Sparks crime family.
In Ukraine. It's not like, oh, we're bringing Hunter Biden onto the board.
Oh, this is the old he doesn't know anything about anything shit. Excuse me, all due respect, as any comedian who has made a turn at political punditry or any of this stuff, we get our fair share. I have no doubt that he gets a bunch of this shit, and I'm about to throw some his way where they go, the fuck do you know about politics? How do you even, how do you even talk about this shit? What do you know? You don't know anything about this shit. Now, I'll stand up my intelligence and my information against anybody's shit any fucking day. Any day. This dickhead has his producer slicing the shit out of this stuff so he just doesn't say too much bullshit too often. But the idea that somehow Hunter Biden, as a lawyer who worked at multiple oil and gas deals before, and is really part of an investment firm. It's not even really about what they invest in. It's just making sure that if those investments are for a certain thing, they get used on those things in particular, and the money doesn't fucking disappear. That's enough. You don't have to be an expert on it. You just have to be an expert in turning a profit, which they were.
Did you know that Joe Biden's actually his dad? It's like, we're getting this guy because Joe Biden's his dad.
Right, because he can't steal our money.
So that we can unfreeze assets, so that we can avoid investigation. This is not an appointment where his relationship...
Get out of trouble was the first one, because apparently bringing Hunter Biden on would get them out of trouble. And it did. They stopped getting in trouble.
...to Joe Biden is inadvertent. His relationship to Joe Biden is essential. That means...
Right. You don't think Don Jr. actually has a fucking brain cell, do you? You think Eric Trump knows anything about construction? Shit, his dad doesn't.
The whole system's corrupt, right?
They were not consulting him on like pipeline construction or wellhead design.
No.
We need to construct some...
No, they weren't. The next question in that is, were they asking you? Devon Archer, you were his business partner. You were both there. Were they asking you? What would you tell them if they asked you about well designed? Would you have advised them to buy a 40 million ton fracking machine?
Pipeline. Well, I've constructed this one. It's pretty good. Okay, no, maybe we can use that. Good work.
Okay, the crack pipe. Yeah. That's the... when other people shit on Hunter's addictions, it's not surprising. It's lame. It's not surprising. This fucker is in recovery. It's just gross.
But also, could you get your dad on the phone? He's already on the phone. Hunter, why are you not speaking? I'm busy.
It was, hiring lobbyists and law firms and various like NGOs to, help clear the path from,
various NGOs, non-governmental organizations. If his vice president dad was solving his fucking problems with a phone call, why is he hiring NGOs? I'm serious. What? Why?
Regulatory roadblocks at the end.
Why would you need NGOs to help you with regulatory roadblocks if your dad is the vice president and all you have to do is put him on speakerphone? Please explain. That's a genuine question. I don't know what the fuck I don't even know how this is a fucking argument.
End of the day.
This is what we all believe, isn't it? With the Melinda Gates Foundation, with the Clinton Foundation.
No, it isn't what we believe. Fuck you. No, I'm not going to assume that everybody who forms a foundation is so that they can have crack and hookers and murder people or fucking disappear people, whatever rando fucking conspiracy you want. No, I don't know Melinda Gates. Neither do you. The idea that this woman is somehow a depopulation scheming lizard woman is fucked up. You don't know anything even close to that, nor would I. And the idea that you would just randomly go, yeah, this bitch probably started this thing so that she could just steal from poor people and kill folks. Why? I'd do it if I had that kind of money. That's what he's thinking. That's what he means. I don't know how. Is anybody in my chat room? And this is a genuine question. This isn't one of, tell me in the comments below. Is anybody in my chat room, if you had billions of dollars, is there anything that would stop you from forming a foundation just to give some of that money to charity and arrange it so that it went to people and you knew where it was going and it got doled out in a way that it was actually helpful, as opposed to, like, I don't know, flying over, you know, what you thought were impoverished areas and just dumping money out of a helicopter and getting a bunch of fucking people killed, right? God damn. This is what a fucking pig.
But all of this stuff that's dressed up as philanthropy is either tax evasion and avoidance, or it's ways of legitimizing connections or exerting influence that will later play out financially. Oh,
why? Most of them set this shit up because they'll never... All right, first of all, think what you will about the Clintons, because they're not as rich by any stretch as the Gateses are. But the Bill and Melinda Gates stuff, like, they have more money than they will ever see the end of. No one in their family would ever want for a fucking nickel if they tried to spend. It's like Brewster's Millions every fucking day. So the idea that they're like, you know, someday, man, you know, I'm going to turn this $37 billion I got kicking around that I forgot I had into 39. Like, thank you, Luis. I appreciate that. I would take the job. Thank you.
we think that you guys should use these medications. Buy up a load of stocks in those medications. You don't need to use those anymore. You know, we've seen this again and again.
No, you haven't. That's not what happened at all. This is what we've seen again and again is this motherfucker saying that about another human being. I'm sick of it. I'm fucking tired of it. This nihilistic, like, doom spraying horse shit. Fuck you. Do you know how horrible a person would have to be to engage in that kind of like, I mean, it's blood libel level shit. Accusing somebody, like, it's just gross. It's fucking gross. But he just flippantly, can you imagine flippantly saying that, you know, that's why you get on a school board. Anybody on the school board's a fucking rapist. All they do is they're all child rapists. Anybody who even runs for school board is a fucking child rapist. Don't even get me started on the principal, the vice principal. Not at my kid's school, of course, but everywhere else. Every fucking where else. Anybody who even wants to get within 10 feet of helping children, it's all just a way to get in there and fuck them. That's what they do. That's all they think about. Or imagine, and then just saying that about somebody, naming them. Apropos of fucking nothing. Nobody you've ever fucking met. And by the way, as much problems I have with Bill Gates and Microsoft in the early days of Apple, where they were using them as effectively an R&D study and just taking the UI that Mac was creating and turning it into Windows and all that kind of shit, and trying to kill Netscape and all that shit, which was bad. The dude has been trying to make up for it ever fucking since. And so the fact that he's even pretending to be a philanthropist is a good sign. It means humanity demands it. It means the rest of us have set up rules going, all right, I don't care if you're really an asshole, but if you at least pretend to be a philanthropist, we'll let you write off some of those taxes. I don't care, because we'd rather those funds go to something good as a society. This motherfucker is saying we're all in it with him. And that ultimately they're just trying to, like, poison, like, everybody that they've tried to, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation has saved from malaria in Africa by genuinely trying to do something about it. Genuinely trying. This motherfucker saying, nah, they're just selling drugs to Africans and letting them die. That's what he's saying. That it's all just a money-making endeavor. And the ability to just fucking flippantly say that shit about another human being. Honest to God, apropos of fucking nothing. Like, not a stitch of evidence that he's going to pull out and go, because they this and they this and they this.
Again and again. The problem comes when a political figure claims that they're different. The problem comes when there's actual...
Oh, you mean like RFK? Claims they're an outsider even though they're a fucking Kennedy? Or like Jill Stein going to dinner with Vladimir Putin and saying it was nothing? Or Dana Rohrabacher's, it's his wife, right? That's running one of the campaign offices for RFK. Russia's own congressman. Is that where the problem is?
Criminality, tax evasion, tax fraud, payments that are being made plainly for influence rather than expertise.
No, not plainly for that. Again, I would argue that the brand was security. That if you know the problem with investing in the oil and gas sector or investing in Ukraine at all was the amount of corruption that was there that was caused by Russia as they tried to undermine the functioning government so that people would just get tired of their corrupt government and go, you know what, let Russia run it. So when Russia took over, they'd kind of just shrug it off. They go, well, yeah, what are they really taking? The whole place fucking sucks. They wouldn't mind. So they would just gut everything, the legal system, the energy sector, the medical system. They would just fuck with everything. And then people come in and sit there and go, all right, the investments are coming in. We're going to sit here until they're spent on what they're supposed to be fucking spent on. And then they do. They actually do. And then the country starts to get better. And 2 presidents later, they have a real election. Poroshenko was like a tossover candidate from, Yanukovych to Zelensky. He was the bridge between the two. He was part Zelensky, part Yanukovych. More Yanukovych at one point because of what he came out of. And Zelensky was 0 Yanukovych. And that's what Russia was trying to stop. That's what they're trying to stop right now.
The reaction to what you've said in public, to what you said to the committee on the Hill, and doubtless to what you've been telling us in this interview, is that, like, there's no corruption here at all. This is totally normal. Joe Biden had no role whatsoever in his son's business or knowledge of it. But
right.
That seems false.
Yeah, I think that's categorically false. I think that he was aware of Hunter's business. He met with Hunter's business partners. You found a letter that illustrates that he knew me.
His son's an addict. He's worried that everyone around him is dealing drugs. When I moved to LA, if I may, a little inside story, if I might. I moved to Los Angeles. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't do drugs. I never have. I'm never going to. I have no interest in drugs. I'm weird enough. I don't need any help being weird. And, I don't ever need to lose my cool or my control or my balance. I'm not interested. Do I judge people who do? No. I drive them home safely and I drop them off. And if I ever am with a woman who's been drinking, I would never sleep with her when she is intoxicated because, quite frankly, if you need a couple of drinks to get ready for this, you're not ready for this magic. You're just not. We'll wait till you sober up. And I don't need you slurring the safe word. I'm just saying. So, but my dad knows this. Both my parents know this. I'm a teetotaler. My whole life I've been straight edge my entire life. However, that did not stop my dad during the 90s in particular, because long hair being what it is, and me. Hey, all right. So sorry, the Ohio vote. So my dad, every so often, because he didn't really know what I was doing work-wise, and it was the struggle. Like the 90s were, they sucked. There were a couple of times, and I've told you guys these stories, where career-wise, I just had the fucking rug pulled out from under me, and I was just like obliterated and had to start over. Literally just fuck. Like, this is bad. But I did it, and it paid off. And I learned resilience from it, and I didn't have any help from either of my parents, except for my mom just was emotionally supportive, but she couldn't financially support me. And I just fucking did it. I just went at it. But my dad at one point did not understand what I did or how I made a living or what stand-up paid or how, when I write or whatever, how I would get paid. And I was ghostwriting for a screenwriter at one point, and that paid my bills for a couple of years. I worked for Marianne Williamson for a bit, for a few years. I had this mix of things, and I was, I managed. I kept myself above water, right? But my dad didn't have any awareness of that at all. He had no idea what the fuck I was doing. He doesn't watch TV, doesn't go to the movies, and he certainly didn't see any of the work that I did. And, all during the 90s, what scattered work I was able to do that wasn't just live shows. And there were a few times where he was certain that I was on drugs. He was just, because he doesn't understand me. Like, I'm just that weird. It's just a dad thing. I'm dead serious. My dad, it's just a dad thing. He didn't know what the fuck. I hear his long-haired son with his fucking torn jeans living out in, in LA, and I'm, in the arts, and he's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure you're on drugs. I just think he was worried about it. He was worried about it in high school, and I just would laugh right in his face because I'm like, come on. Yeah, it was, what are you, on dope? Yeah, it's exactly that. And so every so often when we would, we would talk on the phone or something like that, I would intentionally, like, have my roommate Rob, who directed the game show that I did, Treasure Mall. I rented a room from Rob for years. It was, we shared a house, and I was the computer tech that lived in the house and all this stuff. It was like, hey, we worked out. It was a solid arrangement for both of us, I think. And I would just literally, because he knew who Rob was, and Rob's older, and I would go like, Rob, can you say hi to my dad? Like, just tell him what we're doing, like, because we'd be sitting there watching the X-Files or some shit, and my dad would call, and I would go, Dad, hey Dad, say hi to Rob. Hi, Rob. Okay, that served twofold. One is, so my dad would know that I wasn't on drugs because he knew Rob, and he knew that I wouldn't do drugs in Rob's presence at the very least, even if he thought I was doing them, which he knew I wasn't, and whatever. And then he'd get like this sense of normalcy, like, you're doing fine. That's without having an addiction known to my parents or anything like that. Like, without having the problems that Hunter Biden had. That in and of itself is reason enough for you to go, hi, son, how you doing? What's going on? Where are you? What are you doing? I'm at a meeting with these guys. I'm having a meeting. It's a business meeting. You'd be like, oh, fuck, thank God he's at a business meeting. Hi, guys. How's it going? Yeah. How's the weather down there? Good? Yeah, you good? Okay. All right. Love you, son. I'll talk to you later. That's why you call your addict son multiple times a day, because you especially after you lost Bo, you don't want to lose the next one. Hal, when are you planning on getting a real job? Never. Yeah, survivor's guilt. Like, you can hear in the recording phone calls where he's worried about him. That's why he called. They're a big Catholic family, and he'd already lost a son, and he didn't want to lose another one. Period. End of fucking story. So this idea that either of these dishes, and I would be curious, and maybe this is a question for Rusty Trombone over there. Has Rusty ever gotten a phone call from his fucking parents or his wife or his kids or any family that he has? They're like, hey, man, where are you? What are you doing? And he had to show them where he was. Now you would do FaceTime. Now you would go, yeah, I'm here. Hey, say hi, everybody. Or send a selfie immediately or do a recorded voicemail. But back then, that's pretty much the limits of what you had available to you. And I'm certain of it. I'm certain of it. Maybe it was his agent. Maybe his manager did it. We had somebody calling him and going, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Because that's what it sounds like to me. And maybe that's the difference in projection. When I project onto that, that's what I would do. If I was worried about my kid and he had those kind of issues, you bet your fucking ass I'd call him morning and night to make sure he woke up that morning and he's going to bed at night in a safe place where he's not high or fucked up or broken or something has gone bad. I want to know before I go to bed that he's still alive. If it got that bad, right? And everybody I know would do that. Who has kids especially. So, I don't know why you would project anything else onto somebody except for you've never had that experience or you don't give a fuck. Or you think that you just tough love them out of existence. You just go, I have 5 kids. If I ended up with 4, it's fine.
And he's thanking you. He's thanking you for his efforts.
So I think that was, I think
for your efforts. Yeah.
For your efforts. No, he isn't. He's thanking you for being in a partnership with his son, which is a stabilizing influence because you went to Yale on a lacrosse scholarship, which beats the fuck out of being a crack dealer. That's why. That's why he wrote that letter. That's why you would write that letter. And the line about me, I couldn't get away with President Who, is tongue in cheek, because that's how actual people talk. Not this fucking, this nihilistic horseshit, silver spoon bullshit that this fucker and Rusty Trombone lives through.
Yeah, I think that that's not fact.
And I would here's the other question. This is the questions they keep missing. Devon Archer, were you ever present when Hunter was high or on drugs? Did you ever do drugs with him? So no, you never did? You don't do drugs? Cool. So he never did drugs when he was around you. So when you were around his son, Joe probably felt safer when you were around and you guys were doing business because you didn't do drugs and you weren't a bad influence in that regard. And that was the important part, was just keeping him fucking alive at that point. Right? Or do you do drugs? Is that what eventually drove you guys apart? Did Hunter get straight and you just kept using? Were you on anything when you built Native American tribes out of millions of dollars? That's the follow-up. And again, I still don't believe that Tucker Carlson has never been on the fucking phone with one of his kids and they've had him on speaker like this in the fucking car. There's no way. That's how his kids talk, if they bother at all. If they don't just text. They just do this. Guaranteed.
Actually, right.
And by the way, he probably does the same thing to them because he's been on set his whole life and blah, blah, blah. And he doesn't hold the phone up to his ear because he's got an IFB in or any other shit like that.
Whether or not Devon Archer's claims lead to a kind of legal indictment or
they won't.
Proof of corruption.
They don't. Yes, whether or not they lead to any kind of proof of actual corruption, it's great business for me to just shit on the man and remind you that you can't trust anyone but me. And if you're in the middle of a panic attack right now, because you can't imagine a life shittier than Rusty Trombone being the only person in the world you could treat, I do have a meditation program I sell.
In my view, they're not nothing, are they?
They're allegations.
When you consider that so far...
And by the way, if they're not nothing, then the Trump indictments are everything, okay? If allegations are something, then the indictments are fucking everything. Have a goddamn standard.
What Biden spokespeople have offered is, this is just a bunch of kerfuffle and claptrap and balderdash coughed up by the Republican Party as a distraction, nitpicking, just an attempt to bring down a good and honest man of integrity.
Look at the cuts in this shit. Jesus Christ. I'm going to get epilepsy.
Plainly isn't the case. Sooner or later, Biden's going to have to give a speech, isn't he? Where he goes...
No.
Look, I know I said that I had no dealings at all, but I did come on speakerphone. I did have direct dealings with Devon Archer. I did create...
I had direct dealings with him. I wrote him a letter that I was happy he was in business with me, or that you guys were partners or friends, essentially.
At least the impression that I was an ally and supporter of my son that enabled...
Who? What? How dare he? He gave the impression that he was an ally or supporter of his son. What fucking madness is this? I would actually tell you what. If shit starts to come out that all the stuff of the phone calls that Joe are making to Hunter and the picture of them hugging, and what turns out to be CG, and the recordings were faked, and actually they never talk. All the time Hunter was addicted to drugs. He and Jill never fucking talked to him. Fuck him. We don't care. I hope you die, you son of a bitch. Click. If it comes out that way, then we'll talk. Then we'll talk about changing my vote. Okay? Deal? Deal. But the idea that I'm going to be upset because Apparently, Joe Biden supports his son. To quote Bruce Willis in Hudson Hawk, the fuck is the matter with you?
Him to get jobs with companies he wouldn't otherwise have got, with the assumption that
what job would that be? Honest to God, if somebody hires you because they like your last name, because they either trust it or they feel safe or they think they're going to get access, that's on them. But if you're going to start making, if you're going to say it's corruption because other people think they're going to get access, which by the way they never fucking got, then that's on you. That's your ethical weakness.
he could leverage his relationship with me to ensure that meaningful advantages could be leveraged by Burisma when it comes to things like unfreezing assets and avoiding investigation. See?
Yeah, that's not what happened. That's it, the exact opposite happened. The company went above board. It went from being corrupt because of Russian influence in it to a normal fucking company. And then he left, and it still is. He left it better than he found it. That's how it worked. Hunter Biden left Burisma better than he found it. Period. Fucking hell.
To me, these are pretty significant claims. And
yeah, fine. Tell you what, when you have evidence that he made it worse, and that he wrecked the company and everyone lost their money because he was a drug addict, and he rolled in there and he said, my dad will get me out of this, and he started the corruption, and they were like, thank God you're here. The cops are on their way over. Have your dad call them off. When you get something like that, fucking call me. But this blather, because there is plenty of that around Donald Trump. The conversations between him and Walt Nauta are precisely the kind of corruption you're talking about.
significant charges, added to which Ukraine finds itself the center of a geopolitical disaster.
Yeah, the only way that Hunter Biden's relationship with Burisma and Joe Biden's anti-corruption push in the country had any effect on Russia attacking Ukraine, the only way it would have had any influence is that Russia was pissed that their corrupt influence was being severed, and they decided to attack and physically try to take the place back because their plan to undermine everything failed miserably because of Joe Biden.
It's costing the American people billions by the day. It seems that what's needed.
No, it isn't. It's been like 16 months and we're not even at 365 billion. It's been over a year. So no. And most of it's lend-lease. And also, I guess, fuck those people. Is that what you're saying?
Needed is a reckoning, an investigation, and a conversation. Our precious institutions of democracy are being attacked. That's where Hunter Biden gets all of his deals done. That's where Nancy Pelosi and Paul Pelosi never talk to each other about what stocks and shares to trade. When the system.
Okay. I'm over it. Like, this is just like an attack on quote unquote. For the record, I don't know anyone who has any money at all that lives in the San Francisco area, which, I mean, to live in San Francisco, you got to have money anyways, that doesn't know which tech stocks are going to grow. I'm dead serious. Like, if somebody shows up and they're donating and you're like, oh, this person's got some money to throw around, maybe their stock's going to take off. Like, that's all you need. That's not insider trading. That's just seeing them at the right parties. And you're like, okay, this person's got money. That's obviously, they've got funding. It's going to happen. Do your own due diligence. It's not fucking work. They live near Silicon Valley, for fuck's sake. Same thing with Seattle. Ugh. Gross.